good evening, and welcome to the Duck House. Welcome to the YouTube channel. Welcome to the show. If I'm not putting on airs by calling it a show, I don't really know what it is at this point. I'm Doug, and I'm trying something new. Who knows what, if anything, will come of it. I'm very bad at this thing, talking to the camera off the cuff, trying to make sense, trying not to make an idiot out of myself. Tonight I have my friend here. He's the sucky monster from the movie Yellow Submarine, and he's called the sucky monster because of his vacuum cleaner nose here. And that's literally what he does. He goes around, he sucks up all the other monsters. He sucks up the Yellow Submarine. He sucks up the whole ocean all around. He sucks up the whole movie frame. And then he spots his own tail. And he sucks up himself. And obviously, he's here tonight to help me through this, just in case this whole thing sucks as bad as I have a feeling it's going to. So he's here for moral support. You won't be able to see him the whole time, but he's there. The reason I'm doing this is because in the wake of the whole quarantine situation, the whole isolation situation, I noticed that a lot of performers and writers were coming on YouTube and doing reading videos. And I said, I can do that, I think. And I even have my own material. I've got a whole volume of short stories here and 2 novels to draw from, so I won't run out of material anytime soon. And so I'm going to try my hand at the reading thing. I will be trying to mix up the video presentation so that it's not talking heads. I'm going to try to make it visually interesting so that you don't have to sit there staring at my face the whole goddamn time. I've given you certain clues that not everything that I do here is going to be completely kid or family friendly. On the other hand, I won't be doing anything that kids absolutely have to avoid. I'm operating under the assumption that no matter what your physical age is, we're all grown-ups here, right? So tonight, I'm starting with a very short story indeed, but it's probably the one story I have that has the best pedigree. It was originally published in this nice book, which you can't see. There it is. The Nightshade Nightstand Reader, and it's the lead story in the book. It also appears here in my short story collection. And it was recorded once before for the PBS radio show Audio Bookshelf. I never liked that recording, and so I'm glad to get a chance at a do-over for it. Not that I'll do any better, because she was a professional and I emphatically am not. But we're going to give it a try in this first episode, and maybe the last, of something that I don't even know what I'm going to call it yet. Canned soup, stories from the trunk, tales from the duck house. I don't know. If you have any ideas, send them my way. Because damn if I know what I'm going to call this thing. But anyhow, let's not waste any more time. As they say on YouTube, let's jump right into it. And thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy it. Whitey, what are you complaining about? You hear that? Come here. Come here. This is my Whitey. This is my Whitey. He's the only pussycat I have left. And he's quite a whiny, complainy fellow. Much like the old fart he's living with. Anyway, without further ado, thank you again. There was a rabid animal, a hound or wolf, harrying the farmers round and about a small Midwestern village. It had already murdered several sheep, goats, and cows, and there was some justifiable fear that it would one day strike a human target, perhaps a child. So the men of the village trailed the animal to a section of the forest. To prevent its escape, they formed themselves into an extended line and, armed with rifles, pitchforks, clubs, swept through the forest more or less in step, driving the animal before them. An ancestor of mine, a great-granduncle or great-grandfather, was a part of that line. It was his misfortune to come upon the animal as it hunched cowering in the underbrush. His first shot hit but did not kill the creature, which either attacked him or tried to escape past him. To prevent this, the man fell upon the animal. Others came and clubbed it to death, but by then the man had been badly bitten and mauled. The doctor tended his wounds, but in that time there was no cure for hydrophobia. Suicide was a sin. So the man settled his affairs as best he could, said goodbye to his wife and children, and locked himself in a shed out behind the family home. His wife left food and water for him every day, but it was never taken. At first, the sounds that came from the shed were quiet ones, and could only be heard by standing with an ear to the door. Then there were violent crashes and thrashings. Finally, at night, and for the next several days, the family could hear him going mad. His cries ended on the 6th day. Still, his family did not go near the shed. On the 8th day, some neighbors came wearing kerchiefs over their faces and gloves on their hands. They carried away the man's twisted body and buried him in a fine, shady spot on a hill. This was told to me as a true story. For some time now, I've wanted to write it, but could not decide on the best approach. It could easily be sensationalized into a potboiler or a kind of realistic werewolf story, and at first that was what I intended. But that would dishonor the man if his story is a true one, and in any case I could not think of an ending. Presented realistically, it lacks a story sort of ending, a spin or a punch to cap things off. It does not instruct or illuminate. It just ends in stoicism and regret. One day last week, I sat here for some time and could not get started. I decided to walk it off and went out into a chilly spring afternoon. I started along the road picking up trash, beer cans, empty bags, paper cups as I went. Near the bottom of the hill is a pleasing graveyard like the one I just put into the folktale of the rabid man. As I wandered among the stones, I said aloud to them, "Tell me a story." But the only story that I found was the same one, over and over. Somehow, people managed to bear up under the weight of the unbearable. And that is how I came to give this story to you.
Soup's on.